It's interesting here because in America the big debate is about using feed grain, using maize or corn to make into bioethanol, yet it's only about 30% efficient. Here, using willow chip burnt in a boiler to heat a school or something like that is 90% efficient. And we have had a tremendous lot of guests. We're camped right outside the door of the United States Department of Agriculture and also the United States Department of Energy. And we've had a lot of their team in here and they're fascinated. They have not seen this technology here in America before. And that's why I think it's a real win for Northern Ireland. We're punching way above our weight. And one of the ladies who just left, she said, this is what Folklife Festival is about. It's about learning something new that we've never seen before and say, we need this in America. I'm delighted I've come down here today.
To make the most of the festival, the Rediscover Northern Ireland programme ran from St Patrick's Day right up to and including the festival, showcasing aspects of contemporary life that challenged and influenced perceptions in the US about Northern Ireland.
We've got just over 30 companies, Northern Ireland companies, who've supported this. And that is a financial commitment in excess of $1 million, in fact. So that's a very significant commitment by the private sector. Many of them have done it because they just felt it's their way to support Northern Ireland at this time of transition and coming out. The medium and long-term benefit is to see Northern Ireland receive more visitors, more inward investment, and therefore have our economy improved through a greater interaction with North America. And, you know, if we can look back on this 2-3 years from now and say that what we were doing right now in Washington in the middle of 2007 has caused more visitors to come to Northern Ireland, business and tourist, then that ultimately benefits all our businesses.
Lead-up period to the Smithsonian Folklife Festival entailed a whole series of events to do with the arts and with culture. That was the, if you like, the backbone of the whole Rediscover Northern Ireland programme. We provided the platform for food events, for business events, for trade and industry events, and for tourist events.
Well, the whole thing's been designed to maximise the opportunity that Northern Ireland being invited to participate in the Smithsonian Folklife Festival has given us in Northern Ireland at this important time. And really what we've been trying to do is to show America that Northern Ireland isn't quite the place that they had expected, that there's been a transformation taking place. It's been about trying to show that, you know, they can come and visit, they can come and invest, do business with us, to study, and even perhaps live in Northern Ireland. And I think the other really important reason why we're participating in the whole programme is to try to show that we're open and willing to get involved in partnership and relationships with the US, whether that's in business or in the cultural fields. And the Rediscover programme has been a huge partnership with more than 20 Washington-based partners, and it's about building partnerships for a future relationship.
What we're looking for is for more work for our artists, because Northern Ireland's a very small place. There's not an awful lot of platforms that people can compete on. Where over here you've got a whole new set of people that we can show what we can do. And in fact the arts and our artists are of the highest quality, and what I've seen here in the last 5 months that I've been here is that our product is as good as any in the world, that we're ready to take on that international platform. So I think those are the main benefits from my point of view.
The Rediscover Northern Ireland programme culminated in the Folklife Festival, itself a celebration of the cultural wealth and diversity of Northern Ireland.
Some of the items that we've brought out here now would be unusual items to most people. Most of them were a common sight a long time ago. The more functional items certainly attracting a bit of attention. The coffin, working baskets, the fishing baskets, lobster pot, that sort of thing. These were used in what was almost like street theatre in many ways. Most people seem bewildered by it.
Mummers and rhymers are a house visiting tradition. They perform in houses, bringing entertainment to children, adults alike. In the times when there was no electricity or anything, and no television, no radio or anything, they entertained, you know.
We've worked on the multicultural programs here for young audiences, say for the last 15 to 20 years. You know, so a lot of people have come from those programs to see us. The take-up from this has been we've been invited to do more performance both. The audiences, American audiences, were very generous, very enthusiastic. The beautiful thing was that if you played any sort of a fast tune or a jig, they were on the floor immediately.
It's been a huge popular success. We've had over 142,000 yesterday, at least that many again today, and I'm quite sure we'll get it next weekend too. This one's exceedingly popular. The participants from Northern Ireland have just been a dream to work with. But frankly, we were expecting that, because after 3 years of working with the people at DECAL, we've had nothing but hospitality and warmth and really interesting thought and care going into the program. So when our 160 guests arrived from Northern Ireland, they were true to form to our previous experience. The audiences are so interested in who these people are, where they come from, things about them. It's sort of the classic American curiosity, getting to know people and assuming they're friends from the beginning.
I'm very impressed.
I like the music, I like the strings, and I like the little girls who are dancing in the middle.
Little river dance, I like that.
Oh, that was it.
I'm fascinated with all of it. I just love this festival.
We don't know much about Northern Ireland, but we wandered around, checked the whiskey, checked the beer, a little bit of the crafts. We're impressed. I think that made it a little bit closer to the country.
I've been really looking about, like looking at the Titanic and everything like that. I mean, it was good.
I just think it's a wonderful experience. I mean, who has the opportunity to stand in the Mall in Washington and talk about what we do for our living? So it's just been a great opportunity. Very, very positive, yeah.
I've been living out in America now for over a year and a half, and a lot of people, when you talk to them, they talk about Ireland, and I like to say, well, I'm from Northern Ireland, and a festival like this gives them a chance to see a little bit of Northern Ireland here in the nation's capital, seeing the different cultures, seeing the rugby, soccer, the Gaelic beside each other, going in, looking at the murals on walls, and looking at more of a celebration than our colourful past. So it's great to see.
It's a real melting pot. I think 120 people here you've got every shade. For me, I'm learning stuff that I would never have learned at home, and I'm among friends, you know.
It's a huge day in America, and the 4th of July is when the nation's attention is really centered on Washington, and specifically on the National Mall, which is one of the reasons we do the festival right over the 4th of July weekend, because we have maximum national presence that way. 65% of the people would think of going to Northern Ireland for their holidays, and 20% are considering it, and really very, very positive about Northern Ireland.
1 million visitors attended the Smithsonian Festival. Over half of the visitors learnt something new about Northern Ireland and said they'd like to visit here. TV audiences of 112 million were exposed to news and media stories about Northern Ireland. 7 ministers from the newly restored Assembly created a united front to reinforce to Americans that Northern Ireland was open for business.